Welcome back to this week's video, guys. We do have another next-gen Ranger here in the shop. This one here is the Wildtrak with diesel V6. Customer here, Eric, is a builder, and he's into a bit of a four-wheel drive and adventure stuff as well. He's done a Triton previously to this, but yeah, next level here, obviously, on the Ranger Wildtrak with the V6 diesel. As you can see, it's already had fair bit of work done to it, this one. It's actually pretty tricked out. We've got BP51 Old Man Emu suspension, the big BF Goodrich tyres on some Hustler rims. It's got a front bull bar already installed as well by Ironman. Got a winch fitted. It's already had the UHF aerial fitted as well on the trick little bracket here, which we've shown you on our channels here once or twice before. So this Ranger here is today getting a few new products, actually, a few products that we haven't fitted before and a couple of old favorites. So we've got the Custom Lithium behind the seat battery, auxiliary battery. We've got a panel here. I think it's made by like Pirate Camp or Pirate Co. I'll look up the name for that for you in a minute. The Wildtrak BCDC 40 amp charger. This is actually the core charger. It's a little bit cheaper option. It's not the fully sealed charger that you get for external purposes. This is like an in-cabin charger. Another new product that we haven't fitted before is the Austmotion BCDC bracket for behind the seat. Stainless steel, beautiful products. We've used their battery mounts plenty of times before. I'm sure this one's going to be another great one as well. Another new product is the Wildtrak battery monitor shunt. It's a really great product that I saw Wildtrak had brought out to the market quite recently. Good for 500 amps of current draws. Really nice, neat put together package made by Wildtrak. Again, Australian made products. So I'm going to get stuck into this now because I've got a lot of cable to run through, and I'm really keen also to show you the finished result. It's a nice cold day here in Canberra. Got my big jacket on, got my gloves on. Pretty soon I'll be able to show you a finished product. Don't forget, guys, too, we do have a line of merchandise on our canfitcollective.com website. You can support the channel here if you like what we're doing. If you want to see more of it, you want to help us out, you can jump on there, grab yourselves some pretty sweet gear, canfitcollective.com. Alrighty, so now we have our rear seat removed. I like to just move them forward up against the front seats, move the front seats all the way forward and move that seat up against them so you don't have to lift them in and out of the car, especially a job like this where you're just going to put the battery and everything in behind and then put it back in anyway. Our back wall carpet comes off. To get that off, you have to take this trim off. You have to undo the tops of those seat belts to be able to lift it out. You have to take out the side pillar trim of the seat pillars just to get in there properly. It needs to be trimmed for the seat to fit. There's also a replacement air vent that goes in behind here to make this area much thinner. And then I'm pretty sure our BCDC bracket actually goes on the other side where the factory amp lives, over there. So that's our Austmotion stainless steel panel. We can see we got holes pre-drilled which line up perfectly with our charger. So I guess you could mount it. Oops. Mount it one way or the other. That's probably the way to go. What the picture shows it or not. Not really. Anyway, yeah, it's drilled for many different charges. The Wildtrak is one of them. So we nut and bolt that onto there. This panel bolts into the wall, which good instructions to follow. Basically, factory amp comes out. This slides in behind the factory amp and then uses a bolt at the top to secure itself. So, yeah, great products. I never had any dramas with these guys. You should always look for good quality products like these. We'll be able to then cut a section out of the carpet so you can see it when you pull a seat down to see what it's doing if you're trying to troubleshoot a problem. And then this is our new air vent. which is pretty cool. Cabin vents are for when you are closing your doors, and as you close the doors, the air pressure inside the car pushes in through here, so your doors close a lot easier and smoother. This one here is like more of a foam filter, which makes it completely flat nearly at the very front, as opposed to sitting out off the edge like this one does. These have got tabs. The tabs on here, simply push them in, push it back into the wall. Right, and then tab 2 underneath, 1, 2. Just sort of bring it around on the angle and pull it out. So you can see the flaps on the back. Clean this surface up just quickly with a bit of white spirits. Throw this on and just stick it on. That'll be job done. Another nifty and handy tip with these Rangers, I'm not 100% sure if it's the same on all of them or not. Raptors and Wildtraks with these dual battery setups, they've got a factory subwoofer that you saw sitting there before. And you take the sub out, unbolt it from the 4 spots. There's this big hole where the sub actually vents into this back cavity. But the back cavity at the bottom, so you can see, is open. And underneath there, it's hard to tell on the camera, but underneath there it's actually just open to the outside world where the tray meets the back of the cab. So in terms of running cables, it's already open at the bottom to be able to get a cable down. So you can drill a hole, use a grommet of some description nicely down underneath the tray, and either in from the engine bay if you're coming in that way, or back out to the tray. So it's a simple way to get your cable run from out of the car and into that back corner. Yeah, so I've just gone and got my trusty SP Hickory ball peen hammer. You can use whatever hammer you want for this. I use the ball peen, but this little tab here on the bracket, you can see the little bolt doesn't quite line up unless the tab here is actually flat. We just give her a little tappy tap, little taparoo. That little flat boy. Thanks SP for the sick hammer. Does a real nice job. So now we're going to slot this in here. You lovely people up here on the side so you can see what the hell's going on. I took out the child seat bolt, which is that guy, and I took out the seat bracket, which bolts on up here. On our battery, this will bolt in pretty much the same way. There's like factory bolts and whatever slots in and then bolts that way and bolts on. I know these have a space on one end for some stuff, so our shunt will actually fit into these pre-done nutserts that are already on the bracket there, looks like. Hold him in place. That one's in. This one here will go in up here. Right. Bolted, 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 strong as you like. We've got cables run now through this Ranger. Now, I could have shown you all of this on boring time lapse, but it's pretty much just me spending a good period of time just cursing myself really, and yeah, rolling around on the ground. I'm not really that flattering an angle rolling around on the ground either, so I spare you from that. And in the meantime, I'll just show you what we've done. We've got our cables run down through our void. We just need to bring them now through this back firewall so we can distribute them where they need to go. This cabling that's run from the front for the BCDC input. We've got cables run for the UHF. This beautiful little bracket. I'll try and show you guys this. This is awesome. So you can see there it bolts into those factory 2 bolts down the bottom and mounts the little GME UHF up there. That's a great little product, that is. I think it's Mighty Designs has made that. I'm not 100% sure, but that's customer supplied. So cables are run through for the back. So we're going to have Anderson outlet, solar input, and we've also got an ignition trigger there for a camper trailer. In here, factory panels come out. I've got a power cable run that'll run for this. And then I've got in the front 2 cables coming out. That's our one feed in for our BCDC. That's our one feed down for the Anderson plug in the back. So they're here ready to go as well. So essentially, oh, and our UHF of course is run through. So everything that's here is now at the point where we're going to tidy it up so that we can get everything tested. And then hopefully, if it all tests well, what do? Send it. Put it back together. And then send it. One or the other. Could just give back to him as is, charge him less money maybe. Alrighty, so we've got our hole drilled with our waterproof gland sitting in there. You can see the cables run out of that out the back. They're tubed and they run down into the gap. So now the speaker fits back into the hole here, and that sits just underneath the speaker. So if I very basically sit this back in here, you can see in there, sits in underneath, runs our cable up for the battery, runs our other cables out this side for the BCDC. Anderson plugs normally come drilled in really small sizes, so we use these dual ando brackets that go on in place of or underneath of your standard trailer plug, but they come with M4 bolts to bolt them together, and those M4 bolts only just fit through the Andersons, which make them really hard to actually do up. So what I normally do is I drill out the holes to like a 5mm hole, then I get a 7mm drill bit to drill just a tiny little bit countersunk on the top side. So when you have your Anderson plug, you drop the bolt in, the bolt sits nice and flush on the top, and when it sits through your bracket, you have just enough space for your nylock nut and a washer, so you get real nice neat type finish. And with these brackets we can sit 2 of these next to each other, so they'll sit 1 and 2 on the bracket and be super duper tidy. It's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
We also have different color Andersons. I've talked about this on the channel before, for different purposes, and they don't actually plug into each other. These ones won't because they're not plugged in properly, but yeah, they don't go into each other. So the reason in this case we're using 2 different ones is one of these is going to be a power out for a caravan, while the other one is going to be a solar input coming into the car for a fold out solar blanket. So we're using different ones, so you can't plug the wrong one into the wrong thing and not get any power into your caravan. So this bad boy is ready to go back together. I'm just going to modify this carpet panel to go back in around the battery. Plastic panels back in, bolt the side back in, clean it all up and send it out the door. Done and dusted. Clean. Little cutout there for the BCDC. So that's all nice and neat back together. Front's all back together. Our back panel back here is back together. There you go. That side. That's it, job done. Brilliant. If you want any more information on this job, you can hit me up on canfitcollective@gmail.com. You can leave us a comment here on the YouTube video. If you haven't already, if you got some value from this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel as well for more projects like this. And thanks very much for watching. Cheers.